Yeah, when you're ready.
Okay. Hello and welcome to episode y minus x squared of the RiffRaff. If you're following along at home with your algebra cards, today's episode is found in the equation I just said. Incidentally, today's episode of the RiffRaff is sponsored by Password Share, the only app which allows you to share your passwords with complete strangers. Have you ever been in that situation where you think, I'm really worried that I'll forget my password? Well, worry no more. All you have to do is sign up to Password Share, and we'll send all of your passwords to strangers so that if you forget, they'll be able to tell you. A frequent user of Password Share is my co-star, Mr. Alex Ravenhall.
Hello, Ed. I'm so glad we got this sponsor on finally. They're doing great things. I've been sharing my passwords, Ed, for the past 16 years. Ever since I turned 5 years old, I knew what I needed to do because I'm so bloody forgetful. And so, honestly, I have shared my password, as I say, 15 years. I've had no problems. I've lost £18,000, but honestly, it's worth it because to know that I can lose that money yet still remember my password to access the account makes it all worth it.
It makes it all worth it.
It's just the way the world works, and honestly, anonymity is the next. Is my friend, and all my friends I've never met before, including you. We actually have never met in person. We've just for the past 3 years met over on Zoom, and
That's right.
It's been a COVID friendship, and I'm really happy for it.
And like any COVID friendship, I started developing symptoms early on, and I'm in remission as we speak. What's the theme for today's episode, Alex?
Give it another 3 weeks, Ed, and you'll have completely forgotten about me. The topic is... I love the tension this builds up.
So do I. I love tension. It's new excitement.
Oh, hell yes. And I'll tell you what, Ed, you might be a little bit excited for this one. We're going on a bloody road trip. I think we've earned it. I think we've earned a bit of a holiday. First things first, what are we driving in? Well,
road trip. Okay, we're driving in. You see, I don't want to go straight to pop culture references, but the first thing that came to my head was the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo.
That is so much better than mine. I was going to go for a Vauxhall Viva because I'm obsessed with Vauxhalls, and it was the first car I ever had. I was actually having a conversation with my uncle at a barbecue, and he's a big car fan. Not like keeping cars cool, but like enjoys cars. And he was telling me about how he's building a Mini, and it was really cool. And I was really getting into it, and I was like, oh, this is sick. And he thought, oh, I found another car, buddy. And he's like, so what's your dream car? I said, a Vauxhall Viva. And just the look on his face, I generally have never felt like I've let down anyone more. It was like when I failed my grade 2 piano, and my dad just left me at the school and was like, you're not coming back. He didn't. He loves me. But I think the Mystery Machine is a better answer than a Vauxhall Viva. So we've got the car. Where do you fancy going? It's been a hard year. So where would you like to go if you go anywhere? On a road trip?
I quite like Narnia.
Narnia. To be fair, I haven't seen Mr. Tumnus in a while.
But I think it has to be Narnia, but a more realistic version of Narnia. If Narnia actually existed, it would be a highly sought-after tourist destination, and it would have been ruined by now.
Yes, I agree. So, it's 3 hour queues just to get in. You got to get the ferry,
and it's full of mock British pubs
and Premier Inns just everywhere.
Premier Inns. And it has lovely beaches, but they're full of those sun lounges, and they're full.
So it's basically just Benidorm.
It's basically just. You can access. You can go to Benidorm through a special wardrobe, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's become Benidorm, but the road trip aspect would be going from. It has to be a proper journey.
Yeah.
So first of all, we'd have to drive the Mystery Machine through a wardrobe, which I think would be fine. And then, so it's going from the start of Narnia to the other end of Narnia, which doesn't look like Benidorm. If you go far enough, it's actually a lot like, what's it called?
Alaska?
Alaska. It's like Alaska at the other end. It's nice and snowy and peaceful and quiet. But in order to get from one end to the other, you have to go through the touristy bit and all sorts of other challenging environments.
Yeah, so I think we get through before we actually set off.
Yeah.
Anyone else you'd like to go on a road trip with? If you go with anyone, who'd you like to go with? Apart from Clive Mowry, the newsreader.
Okay, I think a really hairy newspaper salesman.
Yeah.
You know, the extra, like those people you see on street corners nowadays.
Yeah. And he's doing it just to save up for a razor to shave, because he's so hirsute. In the sun as well, going through Benidorm. But when we get to the nice wintry bit, that hair will come in bloody handy, won't it? So it's good to have someone like that around as like a Persian rug.
Yeah, the hairy newspaper salesman. He and Clive Mowry don't get on. They disagree on sport.
Well, I think Clive's got some quite interesting opinions about sport. We can all agree.
He's a big fan of Major League Tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
And
no, but that's not a problem. We're all fans of Tiddlywinks, but it's his fascination with Russian Mega Master. That's like the highest Tiddlywink standard. Izhnav Klarkov. You might want to write that one down in case it comes up later, because he's a very contentious figure in the world of Tiddlywinks. A lot of doping allegations, a lot of using an extra tiddle to get further distance on the wink, weighted winks for lighter play. But anyway, that's a whole podcast in itself. We need to focus on what's really going on here.
Yeah. Also on this road trip, I'd like to have someone with a good sense of direction. Amelia Earhart.
Yes, it would be good to have her on board. I think she'll help us, and she's also a correspondent with the White Witch, who also is the White Witch in Narnia. I think it is. Anyway, the ruler of this northern part, because it is lovely. Don't get me wrong, but the reason it's so cool and temperate is because this White Queen freezes everyone as they arrive. So it's good to have Amelia Earhart there, just be like, "Hey, we're cool. Please don't freeze us to the spot." I think we've got space for one more in the mystery van. I think it would be remiss not to invite Shaggy, because he's the one who stole it off the rest of them to get it to us. And that would be Shaggy. Yes, the character, not the R&B singer.
Okay. So it's you, me, Clive Mowry, a hairy newspaper man, Amelia Earhart, and Shaggy.
Yes, the cartoon, not the singer.
The cartoon, not the singer.
Okay. So what's our first stop, Ed? So we're through the wardrobe.
I think our first stop is at the services, which is directly on your right, half a mile into the wardrobe.
I think everyone knows it. Yeah, it's quite a popular one.
It's got a Shell garage. It has an M&S Simply Food. It has a Burger King. It has a Harry Ramsden's. It has a Subway. It has a W.H. Smith.
Dude, go on. This sounds incredible.
It has large toilets.
It also has its own Butlins resort, similar to that of Skegness.
Has its own Butlins resort. It has a McDonald's. It has a Burger King.
It has two Burger Kings.
It has two Burger Kings, one at either end.
Yeah.
Like the.
But when you travel over the road, yeah, I know.
Yeah, like the buns on a burger.
Yeah.
It has a wacky warehouse. It has cinema.
Yeah. IMAX or Odeon.
It's an Odeon with an IMAX screen. And it also has a shooting gallery. Well, it has a gallery that became violent. So,
yeah.
It's a shooting gallery now. And it has a motel as well.
Well, as well as the Butlins.
As well as the Butlins. So extensive is this services that I think we spend a minimum of 2 weeks there.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot to do. I know Scooby Snacks is now copyrighted by Burger King, but only you can buy half in one Burger King, and you have to buy the other half within a 5-minute walk of the other one. So Shaggy's very much invested.
You get the first half of your meal at the first Burger King. You get the bun and the burger, and then you have to go. It's
like a walk-through rather than a drive-through.
You have to walk a mile to the other Burger King to finish off your burger and pay.
Yeah.
It's built on trust. Fabulous. So we spent all that time at the services.
Yeah, we saw James Acaster at the Butlins performing, because it's a big venue now.
I know. All sorts of people were performing at the Butlins. James Acaster was there.
Michael Morpurgo did a reading.
Michael Morpurgo was there. doing a reading and his new comedy act.
The comedy act went better than the reading, surprisingly.
Yeah, he says things like, hey, have you ever noticed how stories of World War II are really moving? Oh, what's the deal with narratives about characters who are underappreciated?
And weirdly, whenever he finishes a set, I have a weird desire to read his books. I don't know what it is, it's some sort of marketing thing, but something works quite well for it.
Yeah. So Michael Morpurgo's there, we have a nice time with him. We talk to Michael Morpurgo after a performance and we say, gee, Mr. Morpurgo, that was real swell, because we talk in the lingo of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he says, thanks, buddy. And then we say, we're on our way to Alaska, actually. And Michael Morpurgo says, well, I'm going to Alaska too. May I ride with you? And we say...
you can ride with us all night long.
You can ride with us all night long, provided you're willing to go in the roof rack. And Michael Morpurgo says, boys, I was born in a roof rack. All I need is a notepad and a pen, and I can live in any roof rack you put me in.
That was quite a funny part of his stand-up set when he's talking about the roof rack birth. But that's a story for another day. So we finally leave the services. Let's call it Service 1, because it's the first services within Narnia. We make it through, and we're now in the Winding Wood, which is this road made out of wood that winds backward and forward. And it's lovely, it's quite scenic, but it has the most road sickness levels of anywhere in the country of Narnia. So we have to pull over afterwards because Shaggy's a bit ill after his Scooby snacks. Michael's been tossed and turned on the roof rack, and I'm feeling a bit queasy myself. So we stop off at a little gingerbread house, which is owned by esteemed character actor Imelda Staunton.
Wow. And she opens the door when we knock on it, and she says, oh, hello. And we say, hello, Imelda. It's been so long.
Now, her and Shaggy go way back to their partying days in the 70s, so they've got a lot in common.
Imelda Staunton was the original Daphne in Scooby-Doo. No one knows that.
Is that genuinely true?
No.
Damn.
Imelda says, oh, Shaggy, I remember our days spent solving mysteries. When people would say, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for your meddling kids.
And Shaggy is like stoned out of his mind. He's like, who the hell are you? I don't know where I am. Yeah. I feel very sick. But me and you are very pleasant. We help. But obviously, Clive Myrie, he's known his fair share of celebrity. You know, he's up there with DiCaprio and Pitt. So he's used to these type of people. And he goes in and he goes, Imelda, darling, lovely to see you. Can we pop in for a bit of herbal tea and a little respite from the road? And she goes, absolutely, my dear, absolutely, come on in. And so we all sit in front of this beautiful log fireplace. And Imelda, classic Imelda, starts telling ghost stories. Do you remember the story she told us about...
I do remember the story she told us. It was called The Screw That Turned Again.
The Screw That Turned Again? Was that its name?
Yeah, The Screw That Turned Again.
So, it was a dark night in Darlington.
All of a sudden, a ghost appeared.
It said, ooh-ah, I used to be a builder.
And then it disappeared again.
But in its place was a screw, which turned once.
There was a pause. And the screw turned again. The end.
And what a story it was. I think she's trying to adapt that into a screenplay. And if she does, all I know is if she plays the builder, she's getting the Oscar 100% of the time.
Well, you know, the weird thing is that as soon as she says the word screenplay, Michael Morpurgo's ears prick up. And he says, oh, do you need any help writing that thing there, Imelda? And she says, oh, Michael, you are such a kind gentleman. You are such a gorgeous gentleman. You are such a fine gentleman. You are such a lovely, lovely gentleman. And she's ranting and raving like this as she and Michael disappear into the bedroom.
Yeah.
At which point we think it's probably time to leave. I think Michael has found his place for now.
Yes, he has.
So we leave a little note saying, sorry, Michael, we had to leave. Enjoy bonking Imelda Staunton. Catch us up if you want to. Enjoy your life. Do the things that make you happy.
Absolutely.
Be yourself. That's what I always say. And if you're Michael Morpurgo and you want to bonk Imelda Staunton in her gingerbread house, then you do that.
Exactly. I think it's important that we, it's sad to see him go, but he was a real integral part of our journey. But, like any road trip, we must carry on. And we go up now. Now we're in the icy mountains. You've got to traverse the mountains and then go down the valley till you finally reach Narnia in Alaska. And so we're traversing up this mountain range, and we have to, unfortunately, camp out because we're like there's not much around us. And as we're camping out, we hear the soft pitter-patter that we've been warned of. It is the pygmy squealer. It is a folklore in Narnia. The pygmy squealer is a little animal no higher than my ankle that pitter-patters around, but if you upset the pygmy squealer and it squeals, it transforms into a megalodon and usually dies of suffocation because it's not near water. But it is quite a scary thing to happen. So we're there and we can hear the soft pitter-patter. What do we do? How do we react? How do we stop the pygmy squealer from screaming?
Clive turns round and he says, I hear the distinctive trots of the pygmy squealer. And Hairy Newspaper Man says, well, any tiddlywink Philistine would think that they hear a pygmy squealer in an environment such as this. Clive Murray says, not now, Hairy Newspaper Man, this is serious. We all have to climb the trees as fast as possible. So we start climbing the trees. But the pygmy squealer locks onto you, Alex.
What?
And bites your foot. And you cry out in pain. Like a great coward.
Oh.
And even though it was a tiny little bite, you're writhing around on the ground like
Ronaldo after being fouled. Bit topical.
Ronaldo after being fouled. And we're all saying, pull yourself together, there are bigger things at stake, and you're going, no, I'm more important than everyone else. I'm more important.
You just get
While
me,
you're
Ed.
doing that, the pygmy squealer grows and grows and grows and grows, and there's the megalodon. He starts writhing around in pain, starts suffocating, but in that time is able to eat Shaggy and Clive and Hairy Newspaper Man.
Oh my God.
Not Amelia Earhart.
So we got me, you and Amelia are still left. Now, the megalodon also, when it transformed, crashed into the mystery van. And so we were stuck. But luckily, nearby is Steve from popular game Minecraft. And he goes, don't worry guys, I'll make you something. And so he chops down all the trees really quickly in perfect little blocks. And he gives them to Amelia Earhart, who quickly creates a plane, a drifting plane. It's got no engine, but it'll glide away. Because we're on the mountains, it's got a good settle point. So as the megalodon is biting down, it's a bit stuck on Hairy Newspaper Man's hair. So it's getting caught in his teeth. And as it's stuck chewing him down, Amelia flies us to our safety.
Yes. I always think stories are better when random characters who can get you out of it appear in the nick of time. Michael Morpurgo will tell you that.
Yes, well, he's a great writer.
So where are we now?
So now we're gliding over the valley. The valley is the last point before we get to Alaska, and it is full of rhinos, talking intellectual rhinos.
Wow, what a whimsical idea.
I'm full of whimsy, Edward. And so we land down in their territory, and we meet with their leader, Ryan the Rhino. All their names are alliterative. And he goes, look, I've got no beef for you lot, but there's been a political uprising. Ryan the Ryan has assassinated my brother, Robert, and he's trying to take over the valley, and I need you guys to help stop this political uprising from occurring. And so Amelia Earhart goes, don't you worry, I'll sort it. Come on, lads. And so we have to now talk to Rian the Ryan, and we have to solve this complex political debate. Do you think you're up for the task, Ed?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right there.
So,
I'm Rian the Ryan, the Rhino. Pardon my French.
Sit down. Calm yourself, all right? There's no need for that.
Right, sorry,
First things first, right? You're causing argy-bargy, that's not on, right? It's your responsibility to keep things calm. You're a rhino, for goodness sake. You're not an elephant. What do you think you are? Some sort of immature elephant? Explain yourself.
Well, all I'm saying is, right, Robert went down to the market and he took my carrot store, and I was like, but mate, I need those carrots to survive because I don't have much food of my own. And so I was trying to sort that out, and then Robert was all like, I'm the brother of the Ryan, the Rhino, and I'm gonna beat you up and such. And so I was like, well, hang on a minute, Ryan. No, I believe it was Robert. I do apologise. I was like, Robert, why are you being so arsey to me? And I was like, and he was at my face and he was going, you shut up, I'm royalty. And I was like, you know what? I don't need this right now. And I got my little horn and I said, I'm warning you, if you come at me again, I'm going to hit you with this horn. He said, I bloody dare you. And I said, you wouldn't dare me because you might die. And he was like, well, I don't mind if I die. And so he was like running around the marketplace and he's doing a little trot and he's going, oh my god, look at me, Rain's scared of me. And I was like, hang on a minute, I'm not scared of you, I'm about to kill you. And he goes, no you're not. And I go, I'm literally killing you. And I was stabbing him in the chest and he was like, ha, it doesn't even hurt. And I was like, mate, you're literally bleeding now. And he was like, ha, you're a weakling, you can't even kill anyone proper. And I was like, no, stop it, you're being really nasty to me. I don't understand why you're being like this. And he was like, ha, and he was like running around doing a little trot and like blood was spurting from everywhere and everyone was laughing at me. And so I cut off his head.
Right, well, I think the first thing to say is that there's never any excuse for violence.
No, too right.
The Lord may declare an eye for an eye, but do I look like the Lord? Do I look like the Lord? Yes.
I do not know what our Lord Jesus Christ or God looks like.
It is up to you now. It is up to you now to gather together all the funds you have.
Right.
And pay compensation to your rhino brethren.
I don't think you heard in the story that I only have a carrot store.
You have a carrot store? You have a carrot store? I know for a fact that all rhinos are registered on online banking.
Well, NatWest do special deals for us rhinos, but I don't have that much saved, only a little bit. What
about your rhino benefits? What about secure internet banking? What about the carrot boom?
Well, it's interesting you say all this.
What's going on?
But I've unfortunately forgotten my password, so I can't get it. So I just don't know what I could possibly do.
I know exactly what you can do, my rhino friend. You can download a little app called Share My Password. But anyway, political discourse over. I think it's time to move on and reach our final destination.
Absolutely. I think we solved that one really well. He used the fantastic website to remember his password, and he managed to give half of all of his accounts to Ryan as compensation. Only half, because the other half somehow went missing when he shared his password. So we're now on to Alaska itself. We've made it, Ed. But, as I told you, the Ice Queen or Snow Queen or Witch or whatever she's called in the books.
She's called the White Trash Witch.
The White Trash Witch herself. She comes down and she goes, all right, sure, what are you doing? And Amelia is obviously her mate and she's like, oh, don't be so bloody silly, love, it's me. And she goes, you owe me 20 quid. And she goes, well, I would give you it, but all my money got stolen when I used an app. And she's like, well, I'm fuming, I'm going to turn you all to ice. And so we're like, oh my god, what are we going to do? And then Steve from Minecraft abseils down a corridor. He's always there, Ed.
He abseils down a corridor. He abseils sideways down a corridor.
There's a rope on the floor, and he just kind of crawls and pulls it along, even though like he could just walk down it. And we all wait patiently because he's got his quirks, Steve, but he's a really genuine guy. And he goes, stop it, you. And he builds a box to put her in. and thankfully we're saved from the Ice Witch herself. And so we carry on, and we're at our destination, and it's all beautiful. Any last descriptions, Ed, of what we're seeing or what we're doing?
Yes. We're looking at the wonderful view of Alaska, and you say to me, Ed, you know a lot, don't you? You're so wonderful. And I say, yes, that's right. And you say, how many kilometres squared is Alaska? And I go, and I stroke my long flowing beard.
Yes, you do.
And I go, I would say that the area of Alaska is probably 1.718 million kilometres squared. But in order to find this out properly, we'll have to go on another road trip.
And at that point, Michael Morpurgo closes the book, and he goes, if you would like a sequel, please buy this book, The Road Trip by Michael Morpurgo, edited and directed by my beautiful wife, Imelda Staunton. We'll see you for the next one. Ed, you are lovely as always. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening. Goodbye.